everyone, welcome to Fab Friday with Spiegelmom Scraps. So this layout went really quickly. I'm going to go through it with you. I am taking on Laura Rumble's challenge. It was the sketch challenge from Spiegelmom Scraps on the 15 Minutes to Scrap Facebook page. And so what I did was I started this layout by cutting some of the Oakley Avenue cut files from the cut shop, and I grabbed two of my textures which are in the Spiegelmom Scraps shop. One is Moon Over Miami and one is the Marigold Digger. And what I did was I evenly and carefully spread the textures over my die cuts while they were still on my silhouette mat and right after they had been cut out. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to very carefully peel the paper away from the die cuts. I'm going to fix them up where they might have smushed a little bit, and then I'm going to set them off to dry. These make incredibly awesome embellishments for a page. You can use any die cut and any kind of textures or dazzlers, and I love how this turned out. We don't want to waste anything, so I opened up my art journal and I'm just going to smear the leftover textures onto the art journal page, and then I actually can use that other negative space as well on a layout. So here is the sketch that Laura posted in the Facebook group. And I'm going to follow the bones of the sketch, but not necessarily exactly the way the sketch is. So I'm going to start by matting my papers. All of the products, except for the products from the Spiegelmom Scraps shop, are Pretty Little Studios Oakley Avenue collection. It was designed by Ashley Horton, and I loved it. I could not wait to get this collection. I pre-ordered it back in August, and when I pre-ordered it, I intentionally ordered those texture pastes to match this collection, and they match amazingly well. So I was so happy when I got the texture pastes out, and they really did match the way they matched in my head. So I'm just using a bunch of papers here to create some layers underneath my photo, and then I'm going to use just a tiny little scrap of this vellum. I love this vellum so much I think I need to buy more of it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to use the one little sheet I have incredibly sparingly. So besides the Oakley Avenue products and the textures, I also grabbed the Autumn Joy sequins from the shop, and I'm going to also use a collection of Shimmer's Mists to create a background. So here I'm just deciding where I want my photo, how I want my photo centered, and now I'm creating a background. So I wanted splatters, and instead of trying to I like to do splatters this way for a more controlled splatter. So I have Hot Fudge Vibes. This is No Yolkings colorings, and then I'm going to come in with some Night Moves, and that's also a coloring, so that's a flat color. And I'm just going to sprinkle. So what I did was I dipped a paintbrush into the colorings, and then I splattered them that way, just because I find it's a little uncontrollable when you try to do it with the nozzle. So I'm just adding my title here, which is going to be Feeling Fallish, with some staples onto my photo. And the rest of this layout is just going to be a lot of embellishing. So kind of deciding where I want things and how I want things to go on my page. This is a beautiful little acrylic piece. Super cute. I love it. And I'm going to go ahead and add some die cuts and some wood veneer pieces and some tiny word stickers around my photo from the Oakley Avenue collection. So just see me here kind of attaching things, getting things together. This arrow, I'm going to use a foam dot to pop it up onto my layout, and then I'm actually going to tuck a piece of that leaf wood veneer that's off to the side. I'm going to end up tucking that right behind the arrow. I'm going to play with it a little bit, and I'm going to play with that flare quite a bit too. Ultimately, the flare doesn't make it on, and that little wood veneer piece does. I just needed to grab a couple more pieces of wood veneer to go with it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get these Autumn Joy sequins, and I'm going to use them to kind of cover up the splatters that I don't really like, that I don't think are pretty, and they're just going to then kind of just mix in with the splatters and add a little bit of dimension and a little bit of interest to the splatters across my page. So now I'm adding the 3 pieces of wood veneer. I grabbed a heart and this little banner that says love this along with my leaf. And then I'm going to take a couple of these tiny word stickers and add them. I'm just reading them all and deciding which ones I want to use on this layout and which ones I want to hoard a little longer. I think one of them says nature lover. I think one of them says something about a fall day. I'm trying to read them, and they're really tiny. They're like the tiniest word stickers I've ever seen. I love them. They're super duper cute. And I'm just going to go ahead now and make sure everything's... I'm going to fuss with this flare a little bit, but I don't end up adding it. And now I'm going to be crazy. So these are not dry yet. They had been sitting for a number of hours. I took a break, I cooked dinner, I watched TV, and we're still not dry. So I decided that I was going to pick them up even though they weren't dry and be super duper careful and find where I want them. And then I let them sit on my table overnight, and the next morning I glued them down. But it was pretty late at night when I did this, and I wanted it done, and I wanted to have the video done, and I didn't want to wait till the next morning. So I was a little impatient, and I pulled them off. And while it did work, I really don't recommend scrapbookers that you try this at home. It was a little bit hairy, and I mean, it was okay. Nothing bad happened, and the next morning I was able to go ahead and glue them down, and they were perfectly dry. But yeah, I don't know. Just, you know, use caution if you decide to make your own embellishments with the textures, and you feel like you want to pull them off the mat before they're actually dry. So this is our layout done and finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and have a lovely Fab Friday. Bye!